Hold on, wait for the music.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Presidio Graduate School's 2024 Commencement Ceremony. My name is Emily Pellisier, and I'm our Executive Director here at Presidio Graduate School. We're thrilled to be celebrating the achievements of the 36 graduates here today. The graduates before you have dedicated the last few years of their lives to equipping themselves with tangible skills, lifelong connections, and the deep knowledge necessary to drive positive change in the world. We are grateful to our board members, current and former faculty, as well as one of our founders who have joined us here today. And we're also honored to welcome many of the graduates' friends and family to help us celebrate their achievements. You all have provided the crucial support that has allowed our graduates to take on this next phase of their educational journey. Thanks so much to all of you for your help and support. Each of the graduates before us has played an integral role in the evolution of our Presidio community and of our world. It has been an honor to witness the hard work and dedication that you have each brought into this program transform into meaningful real-world change. As an alumna myself, I have seen each of you grapple with not only wicked global problems, but complex team dynamics, daunting quantitative assignments, demanding EL clients, and perhaps most difficult of all, personal life challenges during your time at Presidio. Although these moments may not have been the most fun of your Presidio experience, they are when the profound, life-changing work happens. And they are what have shaped each of you into the resilient and compassionate leaders graduating here today. As you go forth as alumni, I hope you realize that your time at Presidio is not over. From the moment you become a Presidian, you will always be a member of a vibrant, living, growing community, connected by a common goal to build a flourishing future for all. As alumni, we not only hope, but expect that you will continue to foster and steward this shared community. As we root ourselves on our beautiful new campus here in Marin, we hope that you will always find a home here and return often to share your wisdom and mentorship with the next generation of Presidians. But first, let's celebrate all of you. We're going to start our program today with the first of our 3 student speakers who were nominated by their peers to speak today. We're going to start with Laura Rankin, who will read a land and labor acknowledgement. Laura brings thoughtful and engaging perspective to her work and has consistently supported her peers through her leadership, encouragement, and dedication. Following Laura, we'll hear from Presidio's board chair, Suzanne Barber, Suzanne has been a dedicated champion of Presidio and its mission for over a decade. She has embodied the ethical leadership throughout her career in sustainability and social change, and is a member of our board. She will be presenting the Suzanne Barber Spirit Award to one of our graduates. But first, let's please welcome Laura to the stage.
Good afternoon. If you're not familiar with the land acknowledgement, it recognizes the traditional lands of and shows respect for Indigenous people, their ancestors, and their communities. Presidio Graduate School acknowledges that today we are privileged to stand on the unceded homeland and traditional territory of the Coast Miwok people, the first humans to appreciate the beauty and bounty of Marin County, whose oral histories trace their lineage back at least 10,000 years, and whose creation stories describe how their ancestors emerged from the land itself. We wanted to begin our commencement ceremony today with a land acknowledgement to offer a sense of positionality, as well as our gratitude to Indigenous communities for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations to the land and to one another. Fun fact, the Coast Miwok language has no word for war. We acknowledge the deep harm of residential schools and colonialism on Indigenous families. We recognize that much of what we know of our country today is made possible by a history of forced labor, which contributed to our present reality in which many people are afforded less safety, dignity, and opportunity than others. We lean into the fact that we have some growing and learning to do to be more accountable to the privileges we do enjoy. We confront the painful truth of historical dispossession and the ongoing oppression and suppression of Indigenous voices. And we celebrate the resilience and strength of Indigenous people. Stewardship with Indigenous cultures and communities is our collective responsibility, and acknowledging injustice, as I've just done, is not enough. We must actively advocate for reconciliation, justice, and equity for Indigenous communities here and everywhere in the world. To be an ally, we must first learn how to decolonize ourselves, our ways of knowing, our ways of thinking, and our ways of doing. Let us dedicate ourselves to working in solidarity toward collective liberation by returning land to Indigenous people, fostering healthier relationships with Indigenous communities, providing for the sustainability and development of traditional cultures and economies, and doing so in the spirit of unlearning, partnership, and collaboration as we move forward. We call on you, our cherished friends and family members, to explore your own relationships with Indigenous communities, either here in Marin County or wherever you've traveled in from today, and thank you for doing that. To learn how you can show up and be a supportive ally as well. And as a first step, we've developed a few questions we can all ask ourselves and a QR coded link where we can all learn more about the Coast Miwok Tribal Council and how we can support their work in this community and with tribal members who are growing in population and resiliency every day. Thank you.
Laura, that was wonderful.
I'm so excited to be here today to congratulate all of you and celebrate all your hard work and the work that you're about to begin on behalf of the world and your representatives. Thank you so much for being here and for doing what you do. I'm also really excited to be here to present the Suzanne Barber Spirit Award, which I'm so honored to have and humbled to have in my name. It's presented to a graduate every year who has been nominated by their peers as an example of Presidio's core values and who actively engages in the Presidio community, both within and outside the classroom. I'm delighted to say that this year's award goes to Gabby Seltzer. Gabby represents Presidio's core values in many ways, through leadership in the governance pod and spearheading the student charter, serving as a teaching assistant and bringing in a new class on co-ops, organizing and participating in speaking events and clothing swaps, And beyond Presidio, working to help find solutions for underserved communities in many different ways. Your whole that resume, it just shouts that. It's really wonderful. So many of Gabby's classmates spoke about the kindness and support Gabby provided to fellow students throughout their time in our school, providing truly helpful leadership and support during our merger transition. So it's absolutely a privilege for me to recognize the many contributions Gabby has made during their brief tenure here. Congratulations, Gabby. Marcia's next, is that right?
Good afternoon. I'm Marcia Bullitt. I'm the faculty chair here at Presidio. Well, congratulations, guys. And also want to express my gratitude to all the people behind you that have probably provided a lot of support to help get you here. Thank you for that support. Today I'm presenting the Eva Alpenclass Award for Academic Excellence. And we're lucky to have Eva in the audience with us. She joined the board of directors in 1993. My math says that's a long time ago. She was recruited by our founder, Dick Gray. Dick Gray. And Dick described Eva as the most committed board member he's ever encountered in all his work with all nonprofits ever. Her list of contributions is long and varied. In addition, she's been generous financially supporting the school. And all of us have greatly benefited by her humble, behind-the-scenes work to ensure that we're still here. In recognition of her valuable contributions to Presidio, we honor her work by bestowing the Eva Alpenclass Award for Academic Excellence to a student chosen by the faculty, someone who's shown strong academic achievement, as well as shown a commitment to building a more just and sustainable world. To qualify for this award, a student has to meet a certain threshold of academic excellence. Our candidate today has a 4.0, so that was easy. Then beyond that, we look for a student that exemplifies the best of what we think we produce here, which is someone who has a belief that the world, and business in particular, can be changed for the better, and has also the passion and energy to do the work necessary to achieve that. In addition, PGS tries to foster a strong sense of community and collaboration, because our belief is that's not only a better way to be in the world, but it's also necessary to building the coalitions that we need to achieve meaningful change. And our honoree has showed us how this is done through their participation and leadership in multiple Presidio events and community activities. Presidio also purposely creates opportunities for teamwork so that students can practice collaboration. And this student has shown a special dedication and compassion to the teams that they serve on. Has fully embraced our ethic that none of us here really succeeds individually unless we all succeed. I recently saw this person coaching another classmate who was experiencing a crisis of confidence, momentary crisis of confidence. And as I watched this happen, I was inspired. I think everybody should have a person like this in their lives. And so it's with great honor and a lot of excitement and pleasure that we bestow this honor on Krista Haverland.
afternoon. I'm Tom Horan, the Dean of the School of Business and Society at the University of Redlands. It is my delight and honor to be with you today to celebrate your congratulations on your graduation. That's a tricky one. I've got to know some of you through residencies, circles, the showcase yesterday, advisory committees, and I've seen and I've been both impressed and inspired by the insights and commitment that you have to making the world a better place, with a focus, of course, on sustainability and social justice. For those who are not familiar with the University of Redlands, and by the way, it's not the University of Redwoods, I think if we change our name up here, I think we would. We are a private university headquartered in Redlands, California, about an hour east of downtown. We have approximately 4,200 undergraduate students and about 500 of which are and graduate students, about 500 of which are business students. When I first came on board at Redlands several years ago, I sought to broaden our mandates and programs to be about business and society. That is, how business can best be viewed within the context of societal, environmental trends, challenges, and opportunities. We had just embarked on this bigger mission when I got a kind of a call from Presidio saying, would you be interested in partnering? And we at the Redlands leaped at the opportunity to be able to be part of your future because we saw some great synergy between us that would benefit us, benefit you in a 1 + 1 = 3 way. And you can see this class, some of that synergy, being the first class to hold residency on your new campus in Marin. And it's been just a joy to be there, to watch you enjoying the environment, being productive, and look for many more such years in your new home. Throughout the process, I've been able to think about what is really important in our endeavor, and how that connects with my own experiences as a kind of lifelong advocate for change. I've arrived at this observation for you today. Be bold, yet be kind. Be bold because we know the status quo is unsustainable, and it requires all we can collectively muster to turn the corner towards a more sustainable and just world. And your education here at Presidio has given you the tools to think big in a very knowledgeable way. It is in that context that you now have your head filled with ideas to move ahead. And I want to give a big thank you to the Presidio faculty for their dedication in working with you. Yes, and did I say collectively muster? Look for where 1 + 1 = 3, as I mentioned. For collaborators, you can work closely to achieve a result. I get the experience of the Presidio culture of collaboration and see how 1 + 1 is equal to 3. Yet the key I've seen is marked not only by purpose and ideas, but also by kindness. Kindness is a secret key. Kindness has many flavors. It's about knowing that while the change path is tough, a sense of connectedness and togetherness with your colleagues is bond so strong that everything becomes a solvable item. It's about hearing the other person, even when it's not your view. It's about understanding that mistakes can happen, that people can make mistakes, and having empathy for that, because someday you'll appreciate it when you make a mistake. Really, my favorite thing to do is to lighten things up collaboratively with a really bad joke. And I got one right here. So that makes me think, are they laughing at the joke or because of me, because it's so bad? That's all right. In either case, nothing like a collective laugh that uses everything. So my wish for you is that you rock the world, and by doing so, be both bold and kind. Congratulations to you, and thank you again for allowing Redlands to be a part of your community and your future. Thank you. We'll now be hearing from 2 student speakers who embody what I just was talking about. And they were nominated by their peers. First, we'll hear from Katie Boyce. Katie is recognized for her exceptional ability to talk to her community, both in and out of the classroom, as well as her commitment to making Presidio a warm and welcoming place. Then, we'll hear from Drew Harrington, Despite carrying one of the heaviest loads of any student, Drew is noted as being incredibly generous with his time in leading the Presidio community and was at the heart of many student activities. Please join me in welcoming Katie to the stage.
Hello to our esteemed friends, family, faculty, and alumni, and of course, my incredible fellow graduates. I would first like to thank you for the absolute honor of speaking today, followed by a big thank you to everyone in the audience for your unwavering support of each of us throughout our journeys at Presidio. I know that while every one of us has poured our heart and soul into this degree, none of us would be here today if it weren't for you helping us along the way. While we each set out to pursue a professional degree, and undoubtedly I have seen the professional growth each of us have exhibited, I also know from my own experience we were able to grow personally. I would be remiss not to take this opportunity to tell each and every one of my fellow graduates how incredibly proud I am of all the time spent doing research and readings, countless meetings, crazy hours navigating time zones, with many also managing work and families. So, I will say it again. I am so incredibly proud of each and every one of us for getting to this point today, for all of our growth through the process, and gratitude for the fact that we supported and celebrated one another throughout the entire journey. This ultimately gets me to the crux of what I would like to spend this time talking about. When I think of Presidio, the first thing that comes to mind is community. Our community is not only composed of our amazing students, it also includes our caring staff and exceptional faculty, made vibrant by each person's lived experiences and unique perspective they bring to our system. We all know that Presidio is by no means conventional in its approach, and yet I believe that all the content we've learned has shaped our minds and the skills we picked up have expanded our professional capabilities. Without a doubt, it's the connections, mentors, and friends we've made that are the defining qualities of the degrees we are here to celebrate today. For our community specifically, I can honestly say that never before have I felt so genuinely welcomed, accepted, and seen. I think it is a prerequisite for our institution that Presidians inherently are curious, compassionate, and determined. Every day for the past 2.5 years, I felt incredibly inspired by your passion, cared for by your thoughtfulness, and motivated by your tenacity. You all have shifted my own mental models around what it means to show up and be present, to hold one another and ourselves accountable, and to challenge the scarcity mindset with generosity and love. I would like to now refer to our long-standing tradition of Circle. For our guests in the audience who may be unfamiliar, Circle is a practice where we gather as a community and progress through different steps to connect with one another, share what's been on our minds, and provide resources or identify solutions to address challenges we may be facing. The final step, and what I would like to focus on today, is sharing hopes and dreams. In wrapping up my time at Presidio, I have found this reflection to be incredibly helpful, and I ask that if you have not already done so, perhaps make some time in the coming days or weeks to reflect on what your hopes and dreams are following this degree, personally, professionally, for the world as a whole. But for the time being, I will share a few of my own. My first hope and dream is that as we emerge from Presidio, which has its own feedback loops and paradigms, that we have the patience to listen to the new systems we will enter before we dance with them, and the ability to embrace their complexity, as the wisdom of Danella Meadows has taught us. My second hope and dream is that we continue to sit with our own discomfort, to have the fortitude to align our actions with our values, even and especially when it is not the easy road, and the ability to admit when we are wrong. Embracing our failures is opportunities to learn and expand our horizons. As Maya Angelou said, and we discussed in our classes, do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. My third and final hope and dream is that as we continue each of our journeys to reimagine and advance a more socially and environmentally just and equitable world, that we never forget this community, and that we continue to have the courage to reach out and ask one another for help, to lend support through the challenges we encounter, and to celebrate the wins, no matter how big or small. With that, it is my great pleasure to introduce my amazing peer and dear friend, Drew Johnson. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to our guests, faculty, and fellow graduates. As Katie expressed, being on the stage today is truly an honor. Thank you all for the opportunity. Today marks a pivotal moment in our lives. Armed with knowledge and determination, we stand on the threshold of turning a new leaf. As we reflect on our journey through this graduate program, some of us may be meditating on key themes, or simply stressing as we search for an employer. A core theme for me is values. Values empower individuals and communities to make ethical choices, overcome adversity, and ultimately find fulfillment and meaning in life's journey. Over the last 5 years or so, I've kept a note on my phone entitled Values. I'd like to share some of this note with you all today, but would like to note that it's definitely a work in progress, like many things in life are. Quick shout out to those that are in the room today, but also an honor to Presidio and their high remote capabilities, and hat tip to the live stream broadcast and everyone dialing in from YouTube today. Evolution, proactivity, courage, honesty, and convergence. These words prompt me to seek common ground, clarify purpose, and inspire action while challenging the status quo. At Presidio, we began a journey of growth, committing to pushing boundaries, making sacrifices, and embracing change through our advanced degree program. Presidio has taught us to innovate, thrive, and evolve. In a relentless pursuit of excellence and positive change, we've learned that we must be proactive. As challengers of conventional business and policy methods, we dare to envision bold new possibilities, and with courage and conviction, we dream big and defy the odds. Central to our journey has been a commitment to honesty, not only with ourselves, but with others that are here in the room with us today. We've confronted our limitations and embraced vulnerability as a catalyst for growth. We've navigated complex ethical dilemmas. We strive to uphold the highest standards of accountability and transparency. Perhaps what sets us apart is what we witnessed as a single thread throughout this pursuit: the convergence of diverse ideas and perspectives and experiences. Through spirited debates and collaborative endeavors, we've discovered that the sum of collective efforts far exceeds individual capabilities. Together we've explored new horizons, unearthed insights, and forged lasting bonds. Speaking of bonds, in reflecting on my decision to attend business school, I recall a recurring theme from every informational conversation I had. And if anything has held true through this journey, it's a result of all of the connections that we hold today. Our countless hours on Zoom calls, a record of Google comments longer than the CVS receipt, and our intense yet immersive residencies, we've stood together in both purpose and camaraderie. Amidst the rigor of academia and whatever may lie ahead, we must not forget the values that define us as unique individuals and members of this collective. But I withheld one value that I believe to be above all, and that's a shared sense of love. Love for our craft, our communities, and for the world we all aspire to change. Love fuels passion, inspires our action, and imbues meaning into every endeavor. Let's continue to lead with love, a singular value that has transcended time, culture, and circumstance. As we strut across the stage, clutching our very expensive piece of paper, our diplomas, the world looks to us, the next generation of innovators, changemakers, and leaders, to bridge divides and create a brighter horizon for all. As we bid farewell to our time at Presidio students, let's carry forward all the lessons learned, the memories we share, and the values instilled. We are believers, we are doers, and we are Presidians. Congratulations, class of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew and Katie, that was wonderful. It's now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for this year, Chance Cutrano. Chance graduated from Presidio in 2019 with a Master's of Public Administration in Sustainable Management. Chance's professional experience since leaving Presidio has bridged both the private and public sectors. He's the Director of Programs at the Resource Renewal Institute, where he leads projects related to large landscape conservation and nature-based climate solutions. Additionally, Chance has recently served as the mayor of the town of Fairfax, just up the road from here, and is now an active member of the Fairfax Town Council. Please join me in welcoming Chance to the stage.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone, Presidio students, esteemed faculty, committed administration, beloved friends, and family. I gotta say that when I received the letter inviting me to speak with you all, I was admittedly a bit shocked. I was like, me? Like, are you sure? Yes, in the last 5 years I grew a beard, but I actually don't feel that much wiser, so I was kind of like, I don't know. But I guess you never know. Let this be a lesson to all of you graduating. You never know when Presidio will reach out and hand you one more homework assignment. So be careful. But I'm truly honored and humbled to be back here with you all. Though it is a different here. There's always a different here with Presidio, and that's one of the beautiful things about Presidio, actually, is that with each and every cohort, y'all have had to weather your own set of obstacles and the changing of campuses and changing of faculty and external financial and political pressures, et cetera, But, this community is more than a building or more than any particular campus. I feel like Presidio can always be found at the intersection of good people and purpose. And that has given me so much joy to come back to see Showcase, to come to the alumni event, and to see so many good people across such a span of time coming together and talking about all the good work that they're doing and the good work that they plan to do. Over a decade ago, my friend and mentor, the late environmental titan Huey Johnson, stood before the graduating class of Presidio with 60 years of experience in the environmental and social justice space. First, as the first employee of the Nature Conservancy west of the Mississippi River. It's now the largest environmental organization in the world. And of course, also he was the founder of the Trust for Public Land and the Secretary of Natural Resources for the state of California under Jerry Brown during his first administration. There were so many critical battles won and lost for public lands, for wild and scenic rivers, for salmon and condors, farm workers, renewable energy development, etc. But he didn't decide to come up to the Presidio, speech and talk about all that. He decided to bring up a copy of Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. And I think it's brilliant. I'm sure you all may recall this Dr. Seuss world of truffle trees and brown barbeloots in their barbaloot suits, impacted by the extractive activities of the Onceler. The deforestation, the air pollution, the water contamination, the displacement of native communities and populations. And at the end of the book, it's this most beautiful, ingenious turn that happens in the book, and it's one of the reasons why Huey would bring this book to these speeches. is because it ends in that amazing place where the Oncelers really depressed about what they wrought on the world themselves, and they're speaking to the next generation, and they point to that rock on the ground that the Lorax had left that had unless carved into it, right? And it's, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. That word, unless, I actually, for Huey, after he passed away, I have that word unless etched onto me, and I wear that every day. I love that word. It's like an Aikido move, or like a jujitsu move or something. It's like when a philosopher or a heated coworker completes the sentence in an old text or an email, and at the end of the sentence it says, semicolon, however, comma. It is like such a powerful move. It's words that like unless that give us hope, that remind us that there's actually more to the story. And that's the kind of thing that we do here. What makes this project that we call Presidio so special. We know that there's more to the story. We know that there's another world possible out there. A world where we don't make waste. A world where we don't make war. A world where we halt and even reverse our planet's catastrophic warming for the sake of natural systems upon which we depend, for the more than human creatures that live among us, and for each other, for all of us, all of our communities. And y'all have taken that step forward, answering the call to courageously say, unless you look at the world around you and you have taken the call to say, unless. And I commend you for it. While we stand on the shoulders of giants who came before us, many of us who stand and who sit behind me, and we've surely gained some significant ground in recent years, I'm sorry to say that the road ahead is not any easier than when I walked across this stage in 2019. Out there in the world, I'm finding that in the post-pandemic environment, communities are more isolated, are less trustful, and increasingly polarized. And this is to say nothing of the planet's health or the geophysical conditions of the world. But in trying to figure out what value I should be able to bring or what gifts I could bestow upon you all as you move through this next threshold, I decided that I would try to figure out a few lessons that have served me well in the wild of the world that you're about to re-enter. And the one that I'll start with is a bit of a story. So for those of you who don't know, when I graduated in 2019, I did a capstone called Fish in the Fields. And it's something that I worked on throughout my time at Presidio. It's this idea that in the wintertime, rice fields act as a sort of surrogate wetland ecosystem. And if we add fish to those rice fields, there's a second crop for farmers, there's an opportunity to incentivize the flooding of those fields for migratory waterfowl, and some of my research found that you can actually mitigate climate change, mitigate methane emissions when you add fish to these fields. So it was like a triple win kind of thing, it seemed really great. And then the pandemic happened. It was right on the tail end of graduation. It seemed like the world was my oyster a bit. I had this great article in Wired magazine about the work in their climate edition for 2020, and 3 different farmers wanted to work on the. It just seemed like so much was going in the right direction, but of course there's so much unpredictability. And you all have spent years fine-tuning your skills and homing in on areas of interest through your individual and group projects, your experiential learning opportunities, and through your capstone projects. And you've mapped our current systems, you've identified important levers and knobs to recalibrate our business-as-usual trajectory help us chart a new course. And I thought I was doing that when I did my capstone, and I almost gave up on it because of the sort of hardships that came with the pandemic. The work kind of fell apart there for a minute. Everything was put on pause with our partners, with the actual organization I was working with itself. Our founder, Huey, passed away. Just like a series of issues that I encountered. But in the last couple of years, I look back at that lever, I look back at the systems that I was mapping at Presidio, and I realized I need to double down on this. We need to continue doing this. And while those challenges that I confronted seemed like the end of the road for me, for my Presidio project, I decided to take my project to Arkansas and to work with a whole new suite of partners. And just this last December, we implemented year 2 of like one of the largest fish and rice co-cultivation projects in North and South America. I had my mug on the cover of a story in Forbes magazine and received a National Innovation Prize. This project was selected out of 10 projects that were selected, but out of over 3,300 that had been reviewed for receiving this $175,000 prize. So I just wanted to say, as a first lesson, y'all have worked on so much here. There's so many good nuggets. You don't even know, like you'll stumble upon something like 3 years out and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that was from that one class. Like I didn't even think about that being this important, but here it is. But there's so many opportunities, but you have to stay the course, you have to be persistent. There's so many obstacles, both physical but also personal out in the world, but persistence is one of those really, really precious tools we have to get the work done. So I just wanted to share, please stay persistent as you move into this next phase, and don't give up on a good idea. The second is harnessing the power of partnerships. A couple of the prior speakers have already alluded to this value of partnerships. And this connects to this persistence theme as well, and the work that I've been doing with my Presidio Capstone project. But I'll scale up a bit real quick. So on November 15, 2021, President Biden signed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA, aka the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, which authorizes $1.2 trillion for transportation and infrastructure spending, with roughly half of that going to new investments and new programs, the rest going to revitalization of a lot of our aging infrastructure, et cetera, in the pre-existing programs. Then on October 16, 2022, President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, into law, marking the largest investment in energy security and climate that Congress has made in this nation's history, amounting to more than $800 billion for those items over the next 10 years. What we have here is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to usher public investment into a more just and livable society, to bring business and philanthropy to the table and use government dollars, taxpayer dollars, your dollars, as a multiplier. I've experienced this firsthand as an elected official, elected in 2020, which was another crazy year. But there is so much money out there to do the cool stuff that you all want to do. Like, there is so much money. It's unusual. It is an unusual thing that there's so much money. And the challenge is that what we need now more than ever is this beautiful marriage of vision and partnership. Because this stuff doesn't just happen. Like, people aren't going to just show up and give you money. But people are also, they have money to spend in these government agencies. They want to support the work that folks like you all are doing. And they are in their silos and they're not connecting the dots that you all have had the opportunity to connect over the last 2 years. So there's no guarantee that these incredible once-in-a-generation investments in our country, in our world, in our local communities, no guarantee that it's just all going to miraculously get better, that the world's just going to get better because of that. But you all have the vision, you all have put in the work here, and that's something that folks are really looking for, but what's more, it's that harnessing the power of partnership. I think of this phrase, it's, doctrine without practice isn't going to get you very far. And the vision is important, but the opportunity to harness partnerships is huge. I'll take it back to the story of Fish in the Fields. Last summer, was down working on this capstone project in Arkansas, and I was at this thing called the Rice Stewardship Partnership, which is all the duck people and the rice people and the government get together and they talk about how we're going to work on commodity crops, rice production systems. Arkansas is the largest producer of rice in the United States. And the challenge that came up is that there had never been anybody working on fish, even though fish were in this, that's what I was doing. I was like, I want to add fish to these rice fields. So the thing that happened was we partnered with these rice farmers on the ground. The rice farmers on the ground then had this idea to bring in a bunch of researchers that they knew. All of a sudden we had researchers from 3-4 university, historically marginalized, historically black colleges. We had a number of rice farming families, and we went to this conference, and they actually gave us space, not only space to speak at this conference with the Walton Family Foundation, with Anheuser-Busch, with all of these different philanthropic and corporate and business, small business partners and government agencies. But what they did was they had our farmer partners speak. And I'm kind of waxing on it, poetic a little bit right now, so I'm sorry for being long-winded about this. But building this scene of this kid that came out of Presidio, that thought my project was dead, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, 3 years later, I have farmer partners in Arkansas that are standing before people who are moving billions of dollars of capital to implement really important sustainable projects. And our farmers are talking about this with conviction. And I realized, it's not about me. It's I have a particular way of looking at it, but it's about getting a bunch of people around the table and talking about our collective vision. And that for me was extremely rewarding and gave me a clue into just how powerful partnerships are. Since then, I've been able to leverage tens of millions of dollars for the local community here in Marin, just through getting around people who are in their silos. We're not seeing the same thing. We're working on completely different projects, or what they thought were completely different projects, and pulling them together. And it's been absolutely incredible. We've had earmarks from our state senators, from our congressmen. We've had the local transportation agencies prioritizing projects that a year ago I didn't think were even possible. Going after the money that I mentioned, that's a once-in-a-generation opportunity. So I just wanted to really double down, triple down on this idea of harnessing the power of partnerships. The third and final thing I'll say is, when I started Presidio back in 2016, I guess you could say my career was still emergent. I was 22. I kid you not, there were days where I sat at my laptop at work and I daydreamed about being even busier or being even more. I thought that was being more impactful, was just being busier, getting more emails or getting being involved in more projects or getting invited to this webinar or being a part of this campaign or such and such partnership. And Huey Johnson, who I mentioned earlier, would periodically remind me that the most important thing you have is your own informed energy. And I mentioned that during my 2019 commencement address speech when I was graduating to my cohort that I was graduating with. And it's been a seemingly intractable problem for me to figure out how to manage my own informed energy. It's like yoga. When you're doing the poses and you think you're doing the poses well, and then you're finding that you're not focusing on your breath enough, something like that. So I just wanted to say, take a breath. You've earned it. Never forget how vital it is, how privileged you are to be able to invoke this pause and to take a step back, because you're going to go into the real world, or re-enter the world, I should say, and it's going to sweep you off your feet if you're not careful. You might be buried in emails. You might not be able to do the same sort of research you were able to do while you were here, to unearth some of the policy levers or the solutions that you were able to explore while you were here. And I miss it. And I just want to wish for you the opportunity to take those pauses when you can, to really savor those pauses, to step out of the river or step out of the stream and take a breath and assess your situation and jump back in with both feet when you feel confident and ready to do so. The most important thing you have is your own informed energy, and I know you all will use that wisely. Now, as you step through this threshold from student to practitioner and outright change maker, I ask you all to remain curious, to ask big questions, and to speak more vibrant, ever more equitable worlds into existence through your works and your deeds. We have many of the tools and technologies to bring about a future where our communities and all communities are safe and properly resourced. But we need your vision, we need your persistence, your energy, your capacity for partnership to help us complete this journey. And with that, say congratulations, Presidio graduating class of 2024 on achieving this important milestone. I'm grateful you answered the call, and I'm honored to work side by side to leave our planet better than we found it. Thank you.
Coming back and sharing that vision of not only the challenges, but the immense opportunities ahead for our students. It's now the time you've all been waiting for. Time to present our 2024 graduates from Presidio Graduate School. Our graduates will be announced by Professor Andrea Previs-Williams and will be put in recognition of receiving their master's degrees by Faculty Chair Marcia Willard. And with that, we're going to begin the presentation.
Following students are candidates for the Master's in Business Administration and Sustainable Solutions. Alexander Ngari. Marie Burks. Krista Nicole Catalani. Catherine Connolly. Mary Patricia Augusta Gately Fox. Gianna Guerrera. Drew Forrest Harrington. Ashton Lee Hubbard. Tomas I. Jimenez Stewart. Roxanne LaForte. Nicole Mamamoto. Eleanor Rye Miller. Liz Morrison. Spencer Murray LaFrenz. Skylar Press. Laura Rankin. Genevieve Resnick. Christy Anna Nicole Scortis. Madeline Tien. Kate Bashan. Hannah Seamay Ware. The following students are candidates for the Masters of Public Administration and Sustainable Solutions. Megan Grant. Jacob Roberts. Students are candidates for the Masters of Public Administration and Sustainability and Social Justice. Mackenzie Bolger. Frank Chen. Lena Liu. Hannah Lyons Cavosis. The following students are candidates in the dual degree Master of Business Administration and Master of Public Administration and Sustainable Solutions. Catherine Boyce. Dan Heckler. Bryce Rasmussen. Gabby Seltzer. Valerie Simpson. Savannah Rose Van Sitters. Class of 2024, congratulations.
Executive Director Pellissier, Emily Pellissier, and Board of Directors, it is my privilege to present these candidates to you, and as faculty chair and on behalf of all the faculty and staff, I certify that these candidates have completed all of the academic requirements for their program and study and are entitled to receive their degrees.
On behalf of the leadership and board of directors of Presidio Graduate School, I confer upon you the degree which you have earned with all attendant rights and privileges. Congratulations, graduates. We are so proud of you and all of your accomplishments. Following the recessional, we invite everyone to join us on the plaza to celebrate our grads with drinks and cupcakes. Graduates, please stand. Wilkinson. Let's move forward with love, not conquest. Humility, not righteousness. Generous curiosity, not hardened assumptions. It is a magnificent thing to be alive in a moment that matters so much. Let's proceed with broken open hearts, seeking truth, summoning courage, and focused on solutions. As you lead us out of this space today, know that the Presidio community is behind you and will always be here to support you as you achieve your dreams to change the world. Faculty will lead us out, and we will begin the recessional.